Hey, mate. Hey,
Hey,
Angel.
buddy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah,
Not
you
too
in
bad.
good shape?
I wouldn't say that, but I'm okay.
What was I going to say? Oh, have you done your video for Orlando?
No,
I haven't either.
not even close.
No, I don't think I am. I don't think I can get a camera that points to my screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean it's
What's wrong with your
it's.
phone?
I mean I could use my phone, but then I got to hold it while I mean I can't sort of like
Can't mount it.
can't mount it. Yeah.
I
So and I'd have to do it every day by the sounds of it as well. It just sounds like an absolute nightmare. Um,
yeah.
but anyway.
Too.
Yeah,
Where do
it's
you get
just
time for this? You know.
I could do a selfie. I know, Angel, I could do a selfie, but the problem is, yeah, that's the other thing. Where do I get time? I'll have to hold my phone in one hand and try and talk about the stuff with the other hand. I think yeah, I need some sort of I don't know. I need another item if I'm going to do it.
I need another
But
me. That's what I need.
yeah, well, that's the other thing, isn't it? It's just sort of like I don't. As soon as the show's done, it's kind of like get back down to work.
Mm.
Um, Anyway, so any ideas this morning, mate? I've got a trade on actually on Euro Pound.
Have you?
Yeah,
Still short?
yeah, I'm going short. Yeah,
Okay, I might scale in then.
yeah.
We've been in Euro pound for 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Oh mate, I think it's a grand one. I think it's this one really could go now.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I
I've
think
got
so.
three trades that triggered over the week on Friday, so we can talk about
Three.
those.
Oh, cool. Okay, mate. All right, sounds good. Well, it is me, isn't it? So let me bring this in. Haven't actually got it on this account, but I will bring it onto this account. Good morning, by the way, everybody. Welcome
Morning,
to.
mate.
Good morning, Jeff. How you doing, mate?
Oh, mate, I'm like a bucket full of worms. Just unbelievable.
Good morning to Angel as well, who is our producer for the day, and for the show. I'm gonna bring in.
Hey, Sino, how you doing?
Let me just gotta kind of make sure I can watch us. There we go. Just so I can see the questions in the room. And Sino, how you doing, buddy? I think you've got the wrong screen of mine here. I've got a euro pound trade on this account, but I'm going to try and put it on the account that you guys also have. So let me just switch screens here.
Sino, you straight into it, buddy. Good on you. CAD Swiss, was it? Yeah.
Okay, so I'm looking for an entry on this account on the euro pound, and it's probably going to be around about this monthly pivot. Looks like a pretty good area. Let's just do a quick bit of analysis on this. Reasons behind this are Brexit is in I think 3 days. Boris Johnson set his deadline that all negotiations need to be done by, and I think they're going to get something, mate. I think they're going to stumble towards some kind of agreement or kick it down the road. I know he was quite bullish on saying that that wasn't going to happen, but I just don't think that's right. I think that there's going to be something in the offing. So I'd like to trade this around this point here. Now that's where I'm in so far. I think on my other account. Let me just see. Yeah, I'm actually in at this point here, but I think we could get a slightly better price. Somewhere around about the monthly pivot. You can see that there's monthly and weekly pivots there as well. Is there confluence at that particular point? Oh yeah, look at that, 23% retracement as well. So actually, this high looks like a pretty good place to try and get the short in. So 0.9071 would be the entry. Now, if you're thinking of stop losses, it's just going to depend on whether you're going to go, on a long term strategy or short term strategy. But I'm quite keen on this actually to hold for a while, because I think if they do get a deal, I think the pound could strengthen for a number of weeks. And I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to aim for this point down here. Is that your ultimate target down there, Jeff?
Hang on, mate. I'm just doing a little bit on the pound at the moment.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Oh, yeah,
Down
me
there.
pass to you. Let's pass to you. We'll do that, and then we'll talk about this euro pound instead.
Yeah. Okay. Pardon me. Share. Yeah. Okay, so we have a short entry that won't change at 1.2891. We have a stop loss on the short at 1.2970. Is that right? Yep. Okay. 1.2971 actually. 1.2971 is the stop loss. We've got a couple of minutes, so we'll work out TP1.
This is on the short, isn't it?
This is a short, yes. So we've got 80 pips of stop loss, which means we've got 40 pips of TP1.
Okay, sorry, mate. Could you give me the
You're
sell
right.
again?
Yep, 1.2891.
Yeah. And is it a sell stop? Yeah, it's a sell stop, isn't it? Yeah. Stop loss?
Hang on, I had that wrong.
Sorry.
I get this wrong every day, don't I? That's the third bar back. The high is 1. Oh no, I was right. 1.2971.
1.2971. Yep.
TP1 will be at 1.2931.
Okay.
1.2931. And TP2 will be at 1.3051. Okay, now the long. Oh man, I just did that on a daily chart. No wonder it was so wide. Sorry, guys. That's all wrong. Bloody
no problem,
Nora. It could be if we get taken in real fast, but that's not likely to happen, righto. So let's now give you the right levels. The sell will be at 1.3031. Sorry, guys. I was on the wrong chart.
1.3031.
That's the sell.
31.
The stop loss on the sell will be at 1.3041. That doesn't make sense. Is that only 10 pips? Yep, that's right. 1.3041. Making that 10 pips. So the first take profit will be 5, which will be at 1.3026.
1.3026.
Yep.
Yep.
And TP2 will be 20 pips, which will be 1.3011.
Okay.
Now the long, I better put that in the market before we go too much further, because we might be getting close and it might just explode on us. So the long will be at 1.3058.
1.3058.
The stop loss will be 1.3039.
1.3039.
Okay, I'll just get that in the market. Righto, there we go. TP1 for the long will be, can you just tell me those numbers back, mate, please?
Yeah, the buy is at 1.3058 and the stop loss is at 1.3039.
Okay, so 5, 8, and 3 9s, 19 pips. So we'll go 9 for TP1, which will be 1.3067. which is pretty much there. 1.3067. Okay. Set like jelly.
Well done, mate.
TP2.
We got, yeah, TP2.
Hang on a second, I'll put these in. So it was 1.3058. Stop loss was 1.3039.
That's right.
TP1 was 1.3067. TP2 will be 38 pips above there, so 3096.
$3096. 1.3096.
TP2.
Fantastic. Alrighty.
Okay. Looks like we might have been triggered into that. I don't know yet. Let me get rid of that. No, not yet. Okay. I've got, oh, sorry, guys. From last week, the pound US dollar short on the daily never triggered, so we cancel that. That was a sell at 28.45. 28.45, which is down here somewhere. Down here somewhere. I can't even remember what the setup. Oh, it was a false break on the daily chart. Okay, we're in that trade now by the look of it. So your TP1 is coming up at 30.67, about 10 pips from where we are now. Okay, that is all from me for now, mates.
Brilliant
I'll come
stuff.
back, and we are in 3 more trades apart from Euro Pound. We expired and reset 3 trades on Friday, so we are in 3 trades: Euro dollar long, Euro CAD short, and dollar Swiss short. We'll go through those when you're done.
No problem. Okay, I'm just going to be just doing one thing here. There we go. Okay, just wanted to get a couple of things on my end.
Hi, Paresh. G'day, Shukri. And I'll look into that Sino in the next little bit, mate.
Right. So, make sure that's okay. That's all right. So we got the yeah. So I was just talking about the Euro Pound. Now this trade I am in on one of my accounts already, but let me just see if we can get us in here. It might be a bit, well, we'll see what happens. It's certainly on the move, and this may be a bit of an issue because we're now close enough to getting that deal done that this may well start picking up a bit of momentum. But you know there's no point in selling here because there is a buy zone right here. So there's every chance that this bounces back to the upside. So I would just like to see whether we could make it back to the upside and then down again. So I'd like to trade this around about. How's this all gone a bit weird now? That weekly pivot's moved. Okay, it doesn't matter. The monthly pivot is the target price anyway. So I'd like to get us in around about here. So let me just write these in for us as well. That high might be as good as it gets, but it's so close to the monthly pivot. I'm okay to take that price. So I'm looking for the entry around this point, and we'll talk about why in a moment. And obviously, it's you know it's a bit of speculation here, but it's a sell on the Euro Pound. with an entry at 0.972. 0.9072, sorry. 0.97. No, sorry, let me do that again.
Okay, so while you're doing that, Sino, the answer for me to you is I don't see that. But the answer to Shukri is yes, I do see that. And why not? Why not? Pardon me.
Let's just see. We're going to get we're looking for this area down here for the ultimate target, 180 pips. So getting above this zone here wouldn't be the worst area in the world. I do like this as a longer term play. So we can probably use that trend line as a stop area. So let's use that. That'd probably be the area I'd want to come out at. So 0.91, yeah, probably 912 and flat. Stop loss. So that's the idea, and you know, it's taking a little bit of a bounce back right now. So there's a chance that we get in. So that. Now, what was the other thing? So let me just write this down. 0.9072. Stop loss 0.912 flat. Now, the other thing that I'd really like this morning is the crypto space. I think you know, let's look at some of these commodities, because actually, you know, if we just check across the board as we should do, then we should check these commodities anyway. But I see that silver is moving quite nicely to the upside. It looks like silver may well have attempted to break through a level just there, but it's just holding under now. So silver would need to get up now with an area like this. You know, I'm keen on both gold and silver, but you know, it depends on whether it can close in the right area. If silver does close up there, and we can watch it for this session, maybe the next, then we're just basically waiting for this same price for a potential a buy limit to be put in around about here along this level. This area here wouldn't be too bad if we believe in silver, and it looks like there should be just a bit more downside. So monthly pivot also looks pretty good. I've still got a little bit of a question of, is the timing right to be buying into gold and silver? I think we do want it in the portfolio, but it just depends on whether we want it now. There's gold, and very similar with gold. You know, it's looking like a potential retest of the breakout level. At this particular time, you can see that there was this triangle pattern that it looks like it's broken through, and it's just retesting that upper trend line right now. But if it can hold along here, that wouldn't be too bad at all. If it holds along the lower level, then we might just be facing. I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a tricky one in some respects, because what we've got here is a rising channel on gold. So probably the safest way to play this would be just to get some confirmation of breakout. You know, you can see that there's quite a lot of traffic in here. So if it breaks through that level, then we're going to be fairly close to this potential price. But if it does, then I think that gold is a buy, and I think silver's a buy as well. If it comes down and breaks through, I'm not interested in selling, because I still think that gold and silver have got a pretty good potential to go higher. It's just a case of waiting for a long entry and seeing if we can get on board with that. I'm just going to check on whether. So gold and silver are both in the ideas column right now, and I'm just going to check whether I've got cryptos on here. I do. The other one I like is Ethereum. Ethereum has had a gap this morning, which is moved its way back to the upside, and I really like Cardano as well, but we can't trade that on this particular broker. But
Actually,
Ethereum would be,
there were a few gaps about the place this morning that I noticed when I
yeah.
just opened my charts just now. Is there a reason for that, or is it just that Trump's now declared himself immune and feels like, what was his words? Something glow. I can't remember anyway what it was.
Something
it made me
glow.
laugh. It made me
I,
laugh.
I don't know. Do you know? I think when it comes down to obviously the gaps on cryptos aren't relevant. We don't know what the price action was over the weekend. Yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, and this is obviously going to be Shukri's best space really to give us the right information on this stuff. But there's probably no gap here over the weekend. But it's more the fact that can it come down and fill this area, not fill the area, but test the area, because there's still an area of support along here. Look how good that line looks. That's an area of support there. It's broken through, broken back again. It did become support there. It broke through, it became resistance there. Now we're above that. And that's what I'm more interested, the fact that we're above that particular price point. So entry on Ethereum is around about 362. You've become a Deegan. What's that? What's a Deegan crypto? Is that like a black belt?
We just learned about DeFi. Now we're going to learn about Degen.
Yeah,
Degen. Okay, got it.
Degen. What's this Degen stuff? What is it?
Oh, I remember him talking about that degenerative something or other.
Degenerative. Okay. Well, what are we saying, Shukri? 362 is where I'd like to put an order in. So this is also going to be a irresponsibly making money.
That's right. Degenerate. Yes, that's right. Got it.
So this is also a buy, and the buy price is 362.50, I guess. This might have to be a soft buy price, and the stop loss again. I'm going to put it under a trend line for my stop loss. Which actually, at this stage, isn't too far from these lows. So I'm going to use the lows instead. So 330 for the stop loss.
We had a crappy week, from a numbers and data point of view. We've got a US bank holiday today, which is going to make this evening interesting. It might be an educational program tonight.
Yeah.
We've got employment figures from the Aussie and retail sales from the dollar on Friday. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, there's isn't there UK news as well?
Oh, there might be a low level. There's nothing in high power red.
No.
No.
Okay, low level, I think, which might give us a buying opportunity. I mean, this is probably the week that we just stay with the trend. At this stage, it doesn't look like there's going to be any abating, and even with Pelosi coming out and really kind of dousing lots of water on Trump's plan for the stimulus package, it still appears that the market is probably looking to push higher. So
yeah,
I am looking.
The dollar's looking weak again.
Oh, it's looking terrible, isn't it? I mean, I just looking at the dollar, it's just it's not looking in good shape whatsoever.
If there's a retest on today, I think tomorrow it's a buy, a sell rather.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the FTSE around about 59.43. So I do need a little bit of downside with the FTSE, but I quite like this area as well. I'm just looking at these horizontal levels on the daily chart here and just making an assumption that it might come back, but let's use a fib as well and see what could be the case. Fib gives me a 38.2% retracement, and it it was always going to struggle without another catalyst probably to get through this area here. maybe that's the line there. You can see that there's a closing area here. It's not a particularly clean line, but you put that trend line in there. Could be the weekly pivot. Actually, it's going to bounce from. Maybe it doesn't get quite as far down as we could hope. But that looks like the best possible price. 59.33. So there's a few things out there, mate. There's a few interesting looking potential opportunities. I think we can start buying up. I mean, we'll talk about stocks a bit more in the US show, but just to let you guys in this room know what I'm looking at. I'm really, really keen on Aston Martin. The Aston Martin are going into F1 next year. So I'm really keen on those guys. And if you've got an opportunity to potentially trade those, I think there's an opportunity there. I think EasyJet, they just came out with some pretty dire numbers quite recently. I had to kind of clear out my shares of those again. I'm making such small gains on those before I'm having to close the positions that it's becoming a little bit of a juggling act.
I think that's pretty common. The currency market's the same. There's not a whole lot of follow through going on. I've been saying that for a couple of weeks. In fact, a few weeks.
Yeah,
it's not. It seems reasonably clear to get into the market, but to stay in the market is not clear.
Yeah.
Bungee cords.
I mean, it just seems to be. Yeah, I think you're right. And there's just certain industries and certain sectors right now which are just in all sorts of trouble. EasyJet's one of them, and we're just all I'm doing with something like that is trying to figure out when's the time that their balance sheet can possibly turn. It doesn't look like it's going to be coming this year at all. I mean, it's we're getting some fairly positive signs from the vaccine. There's a new nasal spray that they think could potentially fight it, but it does look like we are going to be living with this for quite a few years. The big question really isn't about that. It's about government policy. Is government policy? Oh, do you know what, mate? I've just realised we're not even on camera, are we?
No,
we're not on camera. I forgot. Ah.
Because the flip side of that is Europe is not in good shape as far as numbers and COVID numbers are concerned, are
they? It's what for the pandemic? No, it's not. And interestingly, the numbers are one thing, but the numbers are important. I think the interesting thing is how deadly is the virus. I mean, there's reports of it becoming a little bit weaker as there's potentially herd immunity. But I think the other aspect is, are these companies going to be taken out of the lockdown list? Because if they're not, then there's no way a company like EasyJet can possibly make money. If the quarantine list, sorry, if countries remain on quarantine lists, they're not going to be taken off the, they're not going to be allowed to kind of be shipping passengers back and forth freely. And until that happens, we're in all sorts of trouble. And it doesn't look like this is the right time of year to be thinking about something like EasyJet with winter, fast approaching. So that's a difficult one, but I quite like, we're talking about numbers as in some of the coronavirus cases, but there's other numbers coming out, particularly in the UK, and I think a company like Aston Martin actually could do pretty well out of a positive Brexit. Yes, and Sebastian Vettel is driving for Aston Martin. Shuki, you're absolutely right. And the thing is, Aston Martin currently just around about the 50 pence a share mark. They're where are they right now? 53, I think it is. 53p a share, 52.90, something like that. So call it 53p a share. So if they're at 53p a share, they go up to 58p a share. They're up 10%. So it doesn't have to. It's a bit like cryptos, I would suspect, trading at Aston Martin. Shukri, it's going to be a little bit of a hodl situation, but I think it's okay to make money as long as you don't believe that they're going to zero. Then I think it's well worth putting some money on Aston Martin and just waiting it out, because they could quite easily, that's one company that could double in price over the course of the next 10 years.
You want to make a small fortune, though. It's probably very, very easy to do. And that is to
Yeah.
go into Formula One, isn't it? Out of a big fortune.
Yeah, well, I don't know
Massive
what the
expense.
situation. Well, this is the thing, yeah. I mean, the expense is huge, isn't it? So going into the Formula One market, so it's as you say, it's a massive expense. But it's all about what's the the knock on of spending the money on Formula One. Is it really good
if you
for
roll the dice and win, you've done very well, obviously.
Yeah, it's a bit like is it a loss leader in a way? Is it used as a potential loss leader where they go into Formula One just to kind of raise awareness of a different product actually? So it's a bit of a red herring kind of going into the Formula One
because obviously not expense at the end of the day, isn't it?
Exactly, and that's something that that certainly Aston Martin could do with is the marketing expense because some marketing because people just don't really know about their products anymore. But this guy Lawrence Stroll who bought them in March, I think it was, he became the CEO. He's a pretty important player in the motor racing world. He owns Force India right now. He's their CEO. So he's a well trodden experienced man when it comes down to going into this kind of arena. So I think he's got a good shout of making a success of this.
Cool.
Yeah, so Aston Martin I like. I say I'm like in the crypto space. I'm looking at Cardano. I'm looking at Ethereum as well. If I can get the price that I want, I will be looking at the FTSE again. If I can get the price that I want, and I am obviously looking at the euro pound. So they are the ideas that I have for the week, mate. It's just going to be dependent on whether we can get into some of these. Ethereum opened up pretty hot this morning. It's calmed down since, as you can see here. It's just come off a little bit, since the open, carving possibly. Maybe we're getting a first lower high on the 15-minute chart. If it can stop here, then maybe we get a proper move to the downside because this is the area that I want. In the 362, and I don't really fancy coming in before that. We have already taken out this low on an intraday 15-minute level on a spike, but let's see how things play out and see if we can get our price. It's only Monday. Market's only just opened up for the first time of the week, so there's plenty of opportunities, I'm sure, to try and get into some of these. And maybe it's not this week we make the money, but maybe this is the week that we focus on trying to get the best possible deal.
Well, we've got a shot at making the money on the currencies this week. We're already in, as I said, 3 trades from last week. I'll go through those if you want.
That'd be fantastic.
Okay, too easy. Before we do, I'll just update the pound for you. Now I made a blue. Yes, another one. Come on.
So do I need to update again?
Hello. Zoom quit unexpectedly.
I mean, I'm seeing you.
I'm seeing you and I'm hearing you.
And the guys can. Let me just have a look in the room. You guys are getting your same thing. Okay, mate. If you have to come out, don't worry about it. If you have to come out, just pop straight back in.
I don't know what to do. Can you see my Swissy yen chart?
Yes, we can. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, well, I don't seem to be able to change it to the pound chart for some reason. I can go to the Aussie. Now I can go to the pound. Okay. We should not have allowed the sell on the pound. Not that it makes any difference because we got taken in long. But the reason we shouldn't have allowed for the pound entry is because we'd be trading straight back into the monthly pivot without, I think, well, how much profit would we have had? Or maybe it was possible. No, it wasn't. 2 pips of profit. No, you can't take that. So that shouldn't have been allowed. As it turns out, we've been taken in and in precarious position at the moment on the pound US dollar breakout. This could be a slow day, I think. We've got a US dollar, a US bank holiday, as I said. But let's go back.
Would you consider just putting a take profit on entry there and just see if you can get out the position for no cost?
If I get back to entry,
Yeah.
depends on what I see, I suppose.
So we're just going to wait on this and see if it unfolds for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we're like 3 pips or something from being taken out. There's not much I can do.
Okay. All right. Let's monitor.
Mm-hmm. Unless I want to sell into it, but I don't. This is a breakout trade. I'm not actually manipulating it, so we'll just leave it as it is. Right, we left last week on Thursday with 3 orders in the market and 1 trade in the market. I think Euro Pound was the only trade that we're in, having traded it. Was it back here? I think no. We traded this on a 4-hour chart, I think. No, it must have been a daily chart. And it was sell 91.51. There you go. You don't have to look too far, do you? 91.51, which is there on a 4-hour chart, which must go back to here. Okay, so we've traded a false break in here. I see. Right. So that was 1, 2, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, coming up to 3 weeks ago. We've taken TP1 and the stop loss is now where? In terms of pivots. I'll get rid of this. There. Okay, pivots are here. I'll let this develop a little bit more and then I will think about taking some more profit in this by bringing my stop down to here somewhere. Above the pivots, definitely. There's no clear level there, really. Maybe there. That's where I'll bring my stop loss down to. About 91.20-ish. And I won't do that today. I'll see what happens. But certainly if we get below these lows, I'll be tightening up because I don't think we're coming back if that's the case. I think we're headed here. And in answer to your question, Ash, yes, that was the get out point because it coincides or should coincide roughly, I believe. If we go real fast, how many days have we got? Probably maybe next week. If we're down here, maybe the end of the week if we're down here. But that's the get out.
And it could happen, couldn't it? Because, if they're talking about Wednesday being the resolution effective, that's when Boris Johnson, that was his time frame for Brexit negotiations to be complete. So if that's the case, then we should get some clarity by Wednesday. And if it's positive, no reason at all we don't drive down here by Friday.
Okay, well, maybe guys, if you're in this trade, let's rethink that then. Let's look to scale into this, but lock in some profit at the same time. So you can either move your stops to entry because we've already taken profit, or you can move them down to here and lock in some more profit and then scale in. So add a bit of risk. That's covered by our wins. And to me, probably a break and retest here gets me interested in that. So where are you going in, Ash? Sorry, I thought you were still with me.
Yeah, I'm still with you, mate. My entry is around about the monthly pivot, just below it.
Here somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me know if you trigger. I might.
Sorry. Yeah, I'm in on one.
You're
one
in.
account
Okay.
actually. I'm in at 972. 0.9072.
There-ish. Okay. Yeah, it's a good level to be retested, I reckon. So if we come back to your level, then I'm in too. I think I'll scale in.
Yeah.
because I like it. Yep. If you're not in that, there you go. You've got a couple of options. Both Ash and myself very keen on continuing the short on that one. Now on Friday, actually, this is an interesting one because we were talking about the bearish bias that we had on euro dollar, and it looked as though we were going bang, bang, bang off the monthly pivot at a beautiful level. I've got to say this level here is a great level to trade from, as I've said before. But then we noticed that there was a setup on this daily chart off the trade line. A beautiful slingshot setup, actually. Little bar here, bull bar to the trade line, and a sell bar back. Not breaking the monthly pivot, but we got our entry above the monthly pivot, which is here. We're only just in the money now, I think, aren't we? Yeah. And I haven't taken any profit. And what I will do here with this one is pretty clear to me what I'll do. If we get a close below this level, which is super clear, couldn't be any clearer, monthly pivot, weekly pivot, support trade line here, resistance trade line here. If we get back below here, then all bets are off for the long. But whilst ever we're above here, I think we're in pretty good shape. We like this to go short because it was retesting the break of the neckline of the three little Indians, and also a head and shoulders that is pretty obvious there as well. So I'm more than comfortable to stay in this right now. But if we get below these pivots, close below these pivots on a 4-hour time frame or greater, obviously it'll close on the 4-hour before the daily, then I will close this, because this is going short, in my opinion, if that's going to be the case. So that's euro dollar that we got in. Now, what I said to all of you guys, and this was absolutely pertinent on all of these trades, euro dollar, not CAD Swiss, euro dollar, euro CAD, and dollar Swissy. They all did the same thing. The setup was there, and then we got two inside bars. Now, the two inside bars means that the market's got no idea what it's doing. So this was not invalidated. This setup was not invalidated. So I reset that on Friday morning, as I did on Euro CAD. I know we already said don't cancel Euro CAD, I think, because it was on a weekly chart until the end of the week. So what we traded here was this bar, which is a clear, absolutely clear, as I said at the time. There's no way I could not have traded that, because there's this massive double top here. Yep, the Batman mask looks as though it won't form, but big double top and a lower high and a white body, yeah, off the monthly pivot. You've got to trade that, right? So still no profit yet. So we're still at risk, and this pair, of course, is dependent quite heavily on what happens with the CAD this week. Now, we do have CAD news this week, and we've also got an oil situation in the US with the cyclones, or whatever they call them over there. What do they call them? Hurricanes. So I'm just not sure what oil's going to do. It'd be interesting to have a yarn to Ainsley or anybody who's across, or maybe Orlando tomorrow. Oh, you've got Orlando on Wednesday. So, yeah, that'll be a while yet. I might see what I can find out about oil and what it's likely to do. And if that kerfuffle, natural disaster, in the US is going to affect anything at all. But I do like this Euro CAD. We've liked it for a long time. I think this is the 8th time, did I say, that we've been in it, trying to get this Batman mask form. And so far, so bad. Well, not bad. We have picked up some very, very loose change, but that's about it. Would I like to see a retest? Not really, not until I've taken profit. But I think a retest here without getting back above this level, similar to what I just described on the euro dollar, right? We've got a very, very strong level here where we're crossing resistance and support trend lines and trade lines. And of course, the pivots are involved there as well. So hang on to that one. Same thing applies. Dollar Swissy. Dollar Swissy was skyrocketing, waterfalling towards our TP1, but the week ended. That's a little bit of a shame, really, because that was looking really, really good. I suspect that we will get a retracement today, but if I have a look at the dollar index, if it's come back, I lost the dollar index, which is kind of awful. No, it's still gone. Ash, if you've got that, we might have a look at it in the very near future. But the dollar index to me looks as though it has broken clear of the support level, and a retest of that today would not surprise, just as I think we can retest or test actually the daily pivot and the weekly pivot on this chart. And if that were to be the case, I think again tomorrow becomes a sell on the dollar pairs. Dollar Swiss, dollar yen, look at dollar yen. Crap currency pair, I'll tell you. Where did we try and trade this? There last week and failed. And now we're at the same bloody level. Amazing, just amazing. That's what I was talking about before. Getting into the market's not hard. Staying in the market is difficult. And then it comes back at you and gives you another. I'll stick the dollar Swissy, put it that way. Now, you guys wanted to have a look at CAD Swissy, right? And so I know you're on the 4-hour chart. And I'll explain to you why I don't think that's a good one for me. So what you've got on the 4-hour chart, and you wanted to trade this bar here, right? And I get that. That's good. That's cool, because it is an insurance bar. The thing that worries me with that is not only have we got, let's say a 21 pip risk with a potential 6 pip reward, if that, by the time you get in the market with the spreads, you're probably looking at, 4 pips, something like that. And it's a level that I just don't want to trade through without profit in the bank. So for that reason, the answer is not yet. From Shukri's viewpoint, it's a little bit different. In fact, it's a lot different, because this major trend line, which it is, has been broken and retested with the daily bar. But not only that, the monthly pivot's involved as well, the weekly pivot's involved as well, the daily pivot's involved as well. So if all of that resistance goes, then to me, there's only one logical conclusion to that. We're going to have a new high. And it has to take out this level to do that. So if we do manage to break that insurance bar, the daily insurance bar, we've got a 35 pip risk for a 42 pip reward before we hit resistance. So to me, it just makes far more sense to get in late, if you like, and you're not getting in that much later. So if you trade the 4-hour chart, you'd be getting in here at around about 69.44. If you trade the daily chart, you'd be getting in at 69.57. So 13 pips difference. But the physical and technical difference is quite substantial, because if you enter here, you're adding risk. DR1's dead ahead. The high is dead ahead. It has been resistance on a couple of occasions. And funnily enough, it's produced a false break here. Untradeable false break, but a false break nonetheless. A false break of that level. So we've broken it, we've consolidated it, we've come back underneath it, and we've retested it. Why don't we want to trade short here? Well, 2 reasons. We're bang on the monthly pivot. We're just above the weekly pivot, which is untested, and we're above the trade line. So all of that support underneath us just spells not a good idea for me to go short. So I hope that makes sense to you. It's just a far more attractive proposition to me to be going long at the breakout rather than trading into the breakout zone. Hope that helps, mate. But Shukri, I'm with you. In fact, let's do it, eh? Let's do it. I'll just make a quick. Oh yeah, well, we're long biased, aren't we? We have been for a while, and haven't been able to get into this. Thank you, guys. You finally give me the opportunity I've been looking for. I'd completely forgotten about CAD Swiss. Wow. Awesome. All right, let's do it. We will go long at, I should know, I just told you, 69.40, sorry, 69.50. Let's go with 69.56. I'll put that up here. CAD Swissy. D1 or daily. It is a buy at 69.56, I said, I think. 0.6956 with TP1. Oh, sorry, stop loss. Won't show me, will it? Let me go a bit tighter. There might be a more strategic place to put this stop loss than the, yeah, there is. We've got to get underneath the pivots, right? So we'll add a little bit more. 69.20 looks okay to me. So 36 pips of stop loss. That's not too bad on a daily chart. 69.20. Go there and there. Stop loss in big ones. 0.6920. TP1. That's pretty obvious here. Oh, shut up. 69.93 will do. $0.6993. Sorry, that should be TP1 in there. $6.993. Got it? Yep. Righto, now I'll place it. Look, you can trade this at 0.5%, guys. I don't think I'll be allowed to on this account because it's a small account. Let me try. No. Okay, so 0.5% will be the risk. Entry level, 6956. And stop loss, 6920. And that'll do us. Okay, that's all she wrote for now. TP1. Is there. So hopefully, Sino, that has made sense to you, and it makes sense to me. And I thank you very much for pointing it out, because I have been waiting to trade this. All last week, we waited to trade this and we couldn't find a way. But today, thank you to my friends. I appreciate the heads up on that. Isn't that what good trading buddies are for, eh? Point out where you're looking to get into the market. I love it. Thank you so much. No more Monday blues. Do we have Monday blues? Yeah, most often. Actually, I hate Mondays for trading in particular, but we'll see. As I said before, it is a US bank holiday. It's also a Canadian bank holiday. But as I said, also we have Canadian news. What is the Canadian news? Let me track on that as well. Canadian news is not there. That can't be right.
Yeah, we should check through the news actually, shouldn't we, mate? And just see what we got coming up this week.
Well, I thought we had CAD news, but we don't. We got a bank holiday today. That's it.
Okay, so it's going to be potentially quite quiet. for the day. I've put the orders in the market now anyway. So I've got a FTSE 100 order in. I've got a Ethereum order in, and I've got Euro dollar in as well.
I've got to take some profit before we can do some entries into the journal. We can put the entry levels in, I suppose. Why is this doing what it's doing? I'm having all sorts of troubles here. Oh, snap. Okay. Am I still on? You can still hear me, guys?
Yeah, it's still on, mate.
Yeah, I don't know, something weird going on with my charts. They're not filling at all. Wow, there looks to be a bit of a move on CAD Swissy at the moment. Is the rest of the market moving? Are we still in the pound? No, we're not. You can write that one up, mate. That's a 0.25% loser today for the pound.
Okay,
breakout trade hasn't worked. I expect we're going to get some retracement today on those moves.
It was triggered on the sell, wasn't it, that one?
It was triggered on the long.
Oh, it was triggered on the long, okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably going to be me, mate, I reckon.
No problem at all.
Oh, there were a couple of things I was looking at. As usual, Euro Aussie's got my attention because of the range that we've been in and the way it's been very faithful to that range. I think we're probably in a reasonable position here to look for another short. Again, 3 black crows, a little bit of a retracement here today back to the weekly pivot maybe. Could be very interesting. So another lower high in this vicinity, I reckon, could be good. And that's there seems to be a bit of bullishness about the Aussie at the moment. And I don't know if that's just dollar related or whether.
Well, we are in a risk on environment, but I think some of it, mate, is that there is some genuine growth going around. You know, this China are doing okay, even though there has been some outbreaks over there recently, and I wonder whether we do get you know, there's going to be some further volatility at some point coming. But you know, and it might well be the calm before the storm. But we do seem to be a bit risk on. We do seem to be having a bit of stimulus that is being touted and is likely going to happen as well from the United States government. So risk on seems to be back on the table, and I'm not surprised really to see the Aussie you know, continue to grind where it's going, and it could break through here. It's just dependent, isn't it, whether we are in a genuine risk on environment or not. And the other thing is that, you know, are things
and
getting
if we stay there, that's the thing.
Exactly. Are things getting close to overinflated? And I think they are. You know, I've looked at the Nasdaq, and I do think the Nasdaq, when it's you know, potentially when it gets back to those highs again, could be the one to fall a little bit. You know, there's no doubt that the Nasdaq is the weapon of choice if you're trying to kind of go long anything right now. Then tech seems to be the best possible option. But I do think the Nasdaq's got incredibly overinflated and very much ahead of itself. You know, we're still a little way off from the highs, but we have broken through the levels, and a retest will probably take us back up there. So I'm not saying by any stretch that the Nasdaq is ready to come down, you know, in the next couple of sessions, but I think, you know, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because there's a really interesting study that has been done on the S&P, and the S&P, if the S&P strengthens 3 months into the election, then or strengthens into the election, then the incumbent tends to stay in power, which would make sense. You know, the kind of
100-day report thing, is it?
I think it is something like that. It's something like that. You know, if
they do 100 days in, don't they? And they do a report.
Yes. Yeah,
a
so
performance indicator
with the
or something
S&P,
like
and it makes sense because if the incumbent is doing well, then stock market should be rallying. So they tend to stay in power. And the only I think the most recent one where it didn't work was when Reagan beat Carter. I think it was. Was it Carter that was in power? I think it was when
that.
Reagan got in.
Yeah,
Um,
peanut dude.
but they think that the reason that this time might be different is that Joe Biden's Bidenomics, his plan, his package to kind of stimulate the U.S. economy, is fairly in line, almost with a Republican stance. So that could be the reason that Joe Biden actually does win the election, and yet we have this S&P indicator, which suggests that the incumbent was to win. Um, there's no question that Donald Trump is somebody that you should never ever underestimate.
Mm.
As we saw with Hillary Clinton. But I do think that this time it does feel different. The punches don't seem to have landed this time. There don't
Well,
seem to be as
he's
many
had that many
punches.
setbacks, hasn't he? I mean,
Yeah.
can he overcome every single one of them? It's
Well,
it's
exactly.
got to be doubtful, hasn't it?
Exactly, and also, as I say, I don't think the punches have quite landed this time where they did last time. Crooked Hillary really did land, and I think it did really, and he had that whole thing with she was getting, he was going to like trying to get investigated, wasn't he, by
Yep.
for something or another, and it fascinating really, because if you watch any documentary about Donald Trump on a personal level, then it tends to cite Citizen Kane as his favorite movie, and the way he won that first election was very much in a similar strategy that Citizen Kane did, where he was trying to arrest his opponent, trying to get his opponent arrested, and Donald Trump's taken the same tactic in many respects. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's really interesting the way that he played
it.
Fiction and fact, and it worked last time, but I don't think it will this time. I think Biden's lead is pretty solid, and also, as I say, I think Donald Trump really did very, very well with playground tactics last time, and they don't seem to be going so well this time. Some people are even turning against him and almost calculating the fact that he won't win. I think Dr. Fauci has come out and said something this morning about Donald Trump, and I just don't think he has the allies in that he had before. Even though the allies were questionable last time, I think the allies are starting to look a lot more nefarious. Now we know a little bit more about them, so I think there could be a change. Now the point with that is that Bidenomics, if you like, is really all about kind of infrastructure and environmental growth. It's not really to do with tech. I think he may well go after the tech industry. I think that the tech boom has been ever since March has been fairly uncontrollable. But I wonder whether a Biden win might actually see the NASDAQ suffer more than the others, if the others suffer at all. I wonder whether the NASDAQ does start to suffer. So even though the NASDAQ may rally right up until the election, I wonder whether we might start to see a bit of an easing back from tech if Biden actually does get voted in. So, how far are we away now, mate? It's a matter of 15 days or so. I'm not quite sure.
The 3rd, isn't it? So
The 3rd, so
what month?
a bit longer.
30, so we've got 19 days, 22 days.
22 days, so 3 weeks before we find out what's going on. If there's not a contested election, which again there probably will be, so we might be looking at a month or two before we actually see any kind of turning point. But when the NASDAQ is quite as high as it is, when it doesn't seem to have much base. It doesn't seem to have much. It hasn't had much of a test to come back to. No prices to test. It's just been unabated buying. I wonder whether that might be the thing to look for shorts in a month or two. Or maybe going into next year. We know what the turn of the year does to stocks. It does tend to reverse them to a greater or lesser degree. So I wonder whether we might start to see that coming into play as well.
Mate, I'll leave that up to you. That's not in my area of expertise or even bad patise or whatever. I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. There is a question that I want to tackle here before we go too much further, and it's to do with Swissy yen. Now, you guys all know that I've been trying to get Swissy yen short. I don't know this is the time. Here's what you're seeing, right? You're seeing that head and shoulders, but you're telling me the neckline has been retested. I don't know where the neckline is. If the neckline, that's got to be the neckline for me, which means that it's actually been rebroken and we're going that way in my book. Ash, you're a head and shoulders man.
I am indeed. Just to let you know, I've been triggered into the euro pound as well. What's the
question is, what about Swissy yen short? It has broken the head and shoulders neckline last Friday.
Swissy yen short.
So that's last Friday's bar there. And I'm sure Sino, is it Sino? Yes. No, Sui. Sorry, Sui. You're seeing the neckline through here, right? I don't see that.
Yeah, I think where you've got the neckline is exactly where I would draw it.
Yeah, that's my neckline there. And that's why I don't like it.
And you know, the thing about that, Swee, the reason I would draw the neckline in the same place as Jeff, if you look at the construction of that right shoulder and how low down, the lowest point of that shoulder, kind of dictates that we have to draw it as a horizontal level, as an angled line, rather than a horizontal level. So you couldn't say that it is an angle down head and shoulders. And also, if you look at the shoulders as well, the left shoulder the high of the left shoulder is higher than the right shoulder, so the angle kind of does match. Could you measure where you've got that lower line there? Could you go to the left shoulder and just put a measurement from the bottom of the left shoulder to the top of the left shoulder? Yeah, if we do that, if we could, yeah, perfect. And then take it across, and let's see what the we'll see what the not there. What's the right shoulder's bottom to top as well?
It's a bit hard to see. I'll make it bigger. If you use the open and close, depends where you want to use it, I suppose.
I mean, it looks fairly similar. I mean, if you just the actual range, it looks fairly similar. So it does look like that right shoulder is pretty equal to the left shoulder, while it's angled down. So that's why I would draw the neckline in the same place as you. I think, mathematically, it looks about right to me.
Okay, I've just lost everything. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, hear you fine, mate.
Okay, I've got no monitor, no charts, no nothing.
Okay, no problem. I'll switch the screen for a bit, and you can see what you can do. So
I'm in the dark. I can't. Can you see me?
In the dark. Yeah, we see. Yeah. So you are frozen actually. Can hear you, but yeah. Oh no, there you go. You're back again. Okay. Yeah, just been triggered into this this pound. In actual fact, I had to take it manually in the end because didn't quite get the trigger in I want. But I'm now in this this euro pound trade here. So it is a short, and it's in this area. But I had it at 0.9072, where the monthly pivot is, and I'm going to be aiming down here. So stops you could put up at that line. I'll fix that up later on. So that needs to be written in. So this has been triggered. So we'll do that. And I've also got, just so you guys can see, I've got some other orders in the market as well. I've got the FTSE, and my order is down here at 59.33. So I'm looking at an entry for the FTSE there. And I've got an order for Ethereum at 362, I think it maybe slightly below. It's in between. Yeah, about to the 362 level is my order for Ethereum for a long as well. So I'm going in light on all these, but I'm going to try and add. It's possible that this comes down a little bit further, but anywhere in this area is fine. And again, could be a stop loss down there. This is another one that looks a bit like a head and shoulders pattern when you look down there as well. You know, if you sort of like were to draw a some lines along here, the timing might not be quite right with this. You see, there's the angle there. But if we look at that left shoulder, you can see when a head and shoulders pattern starts to get negated, because it should be a fairly equal looking pattern. And if we do this, that's the kind of area for the left shoulder. Let's just lighten this up a bit. There's the area for the left shoulder. Now, if I copy that over, it sort of tells us that the right shoulder is being done, and we're now into a different phase. So a couple of bars out the other side, not a problem. But you know, the way that the left shoulder looks, it should look fairly equal to the right shoulder, and that's stopped now. I mean, we got a left shoulder with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It's 20 bars there, and we're 5, almost 6 out. So we're getting to kind of 50% outside of the pattern, and that's a little bit too big now. So the head and shoulders pattern on this one isn't now relevant, which means that we don't now have a bearish signal on the on Ethereum. It might be that we're starting to get a bit more bullish on it. So you can see that there's a potential trend line along. It will be here, which brings us down to that point as well. That brings us down to that price as well. So that's what I've done with Ethereum, mate. So I've got a couple of orders in the markets, and I've got euro pound already triggered, and that's about it really. I don't have too much more to bring at this particular stage.
Well, that means we've got about 6 trades in the market at the moment, so that'll do.
You've got 6 trades in. Yeah, that's plenty to manage.
I've got 4. You've now got 2.
No, only one triggered.
Oh, Ethereum hasn't triggered. Okay.
The Ethereum hasn't triggered, and the FTSE hasn't triggered. So I'm looking at those as well. There's nothing else, I don't think, on this platform that I can trade. I mean, if Aston Martin was on this platform, that would be a buy. I have got it on my other platform. So that I have bought as well, but I don't have anything else here that I like. The only other thing that I will continue to look at is gold and silver for potential opportunities. But again, I wonder whether we might be in just a sell zone that is not going to go away for the precious metals, and I do see this one coming down a bit more. If I'm looking at this on a monthly chart, then it looks like the breakout on this one was all the way down here, and we haven't really tested that area and even gone that close to it. So when it gets down to near the $20 mark, which is quite a long way down, if it gets down to the $20 mark on silver, then I will be looking at buying opportunities with that one. And when it comes down to gold, that's a tricky one as well, isn't it? Well, it's just this is what I was talking about with the Nasdaq. That kind of exponential move. Sorry, that parabolic move to the upside. It just doesn't look sustainable. So I'm kind of looking for a little bit of downside to go long. But somewhere in about the 1700 level, I think on gold would be a lot more attractive for me. But let's look at the Nasdaq, because the Nasdaq to me just doesn't look sustainable here. I wonder whether we might be looking at just something that could come down a bit further on the Nasdaq. That's the area that the Nasdaq becomes really interesting, 9600. And I'm looking for this to continue to push to the upside. But when it gets into this area up here, then it's not so much that I'll be looking to sell unless there was, really good evidence that that we could sell it off there. But I wonder whether we might start to see some opportunities to sell the Nasdaq off there. It might not even be that high. We might just get to these closing highs and look for selling opportunities. But I'm just not. The point is, I'm not so keen to buy it up at this in this area. I wonder whether there could be a twist and turn with an Nasdaq. On an intraday level, it's completely different. I think intraday you could trade the Nasdaq up to the upside until things genuinely change. I think on a longer term basis, I think the Nasdaq may just hit the brakes. So I'm looking at that potentially happening as well. So that is everything that I've got, mate. I've just got some ideas right now that are bubbling along, and prices have just got a little bit elevated. A Cardano as well. I want to get into that one, but that's currently too high for me to enter. FTSE's too high for me to enter, and Ethereum's too high for me to enter. So I'm going to wait on those and see if they trigger, and they may well do. You just don't know. Before we go, actually, let's just double check what we've had and what we've got going on here. And we are looking at German WPI month over month. Let's just see what we've got here. So the change in the price of goods sold by wholesalers. Now that is interesting. So this is one of the reasons that I think gold and silver may still struggle. Inflation doesn't seem to be here as yet. And you look down here, why traders care. It's a leading indicator of consumer inflation. When wholesalers charge more for goods and services, the higher the costs are, is usually passed on to consumers. So this is deflationary when you get the fact that it's frozen there. It was a beat on last time, so a slight bit of growth there, but let's have a look at the data points here, and we don't see. I mean, you looking at this. Look at that in 2016. That's when we would have been looking at potentially some inflation, but it's been a bit up and down ever since then, hasn't it? I think if you were to draw a trend line from this point, I think it would be slightly weaker. Slightly weaker. It is up and down, but it looks like it's just slightly weaker. Maybe on aggregate be slightly below. Zero is probably around about right, but there's no inflation there. So worth paying attention to that. Now, what else have we got? Nothing else, as you say today, mate. Oh, Bank of England Governor Bailey speaking later. Let's see what he's got to say. Due to speak at Virtual Citizens Panel Open Forum. I don't think that's going to be of interest. Let's check tomorrow. The German final CPI, I mean, you'd have to assume that number is going to be pretty weak. Nothing there, nothing there. M2 money supply. I think China were out manipulating their currency earlier on. CPI is from the States. Let's see what we've what kind of trend we've been on with that. CPIs from the States actually have been easing higher. So the consumers have been looks like they have been slightly charged slightly more there. Core CPI from the States. So if we go back to this number from today, then what we'd be assuming is that the German WPI would suggest. Now, what does this mean, really? If the WPI is the wholesale price index, well, that would probably suggest that the consumer price index will also be low. And if anything, that would suggest that at this particular stage, the European Union, the Eurozone would have to do something again to try and promote some inflation, and you have to say that weakening of a currency is one way to do that. 30-year bond auction.
Running out of tools, mate.
Yeah, they are running out of tools. They are running out of tools, and particularly with all the other nations doing the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just very, very difficult, isn't it? CPI from China, unemployment numbers from Australia. And we've seen our crude inventories could be interesting. Natural gas storage maybe of interest as well.
Have you
we
got
got
an
some
oil chart? I haven't got an oil chart at the moment.
Oh, we should check out oil as well. Actually,
I'd like to
core
see
retail sales.
if that news over the weekend has made any difference.
Let's have a look. What was the news on the weekend?
Hurricanes wrecked some refineries.
Okay.
In the States. I don't know how bad, but that was a headline I read.
So which one do I want? That's Brent. Here we go. It hasn't affected it hugely. I mean, you've got to say, oil's in all sorts of trouble, isn't it? You know, it's just, and you know, if oil still is the main kind of energy source that nations use, there's got to be sort of some point you just think, well, this you know, it doesn't look good for oil. And if Biden does get in, you know, he's got this kind of like this plan to decarbonize, and it's just not going to look good for oil at all. It looks like there might be a little bit of a bounce point there.
There probably is when COVID, if and when COVID settles down and planes get in the air again, it'll probably have an effect. But longer term,
yeah,
no.
Yeah, it's in trouble, isn't it, mate? I agree. So can't really deem that much from that, but I can tell you that the VIX isn't doing particularly well today. Oh no, you wanted to check out the dollar index, didn't you?
Yeah, I haven't got that chart either. I haven't got a computer at the moment.
Nothing working, is it?
I've got a monitor which is showing me a couple of charts. That's it. I'll have to reboot as soon as we're finished.
No problem. Let's have a look. I was just checking out sugar over the weekend. Continues to ease to the upside. That worked out to be a pretty nice pick that in the end. The sugar, and I don't know what it was down to. Maybe that you know, we were only reading that news headline about India, but it seems to have had a pretty large effect on the sugar market. And that wasn't something that everybody could trade, I know, but right, what were we looking at? We were going to look at the DXY. And this is where we sit right now. Do you know what? The dollar's just quite frustrating because it's not curtains, is it? It's not curtains for the dollar. It looked the area that it should have held was just not the area that we are at today. I mean, I kind of started drawing trend lines on this and started thinking, right, well, it's got to hold here. If it holds there, then that's actually pretty bullish for the dollar. And it looked like you had the same.
Yep.
Yeah, and a retest there. I mean, it was you know, that really is a sweet spot right at that point. So you can see why those traders came into play, but they just got brushed aside, and now we're down to now the only thing with this is that if we consider structure, if we consider structure on this is a low, this is a high, this is a low, and this is a high. So at this particular stage, this structural low here, which I'm going to draw with a straight line, this structural low here could still hold out, and the dollar could still spring up and be, you know, and end up this being a spot that should have been traded long. And this is where it's becoming quite tricky, because now this trend line's in the way. You know, so if you're going to trade this down here, then you've probably got as high as the trend line to go. And then there's some further issues. But if you let it go through the trend line, then who knows where that could end up, and whether you manage to get the trade on or not. But I suspect we're probably going to need it to go through this 94 level to get any kind of confirmation on the genuine direction of the dollar. I mean, it's no doubt that it's low down here, but it's low for a reason. And unless we get some other stimulus packages and things like the the wholesalers inflation index that we've just seen might start to put some pressure on the EU, and possibly maybe the dollar strengthens from there. Who knows? But it's in all sorts of trouble.
It's got to get above the trade line first before it does anything.
It does. Yes, it does. So
and if it can't get above that trade line, the resistance trade line,
yeah,
then there's a trade short underneath that retest bar if it does retest it.
Yeah, so we just got to stay out, haven't we? We don't really have an opportunity to do anything with the dollar, really.
Well, I'm in dollar Swiss, so I'm okay.
Dollar Swiss, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So tonight, Shukri is going to be talking about the AI system on cryptos based on price prediction and technical analysis. Fantastic, man. That sounds like an interesting session. And I will be in with you tomorrow. So I will be looking for you to educate me. As I say, I'm looking to buy some Cardano, and I am looking to buy some Ethereum. So you can tell me whether it's a good idea tomorrow or not. So that's pretty much it, mate. I think we've pretty much covered everything that I need to cover. If it's the same for you, I think we should.
Just got to have a look at Sino's Euro Yen very quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we should be done. Okay, Euro Yen on H4. Now, as you know, I was bearish. We should know I was bearish this. We tried to trade this, didn't we? I think was it last week? I think so. Because we were looking at exactly the same as the euro dollar, right? Now, going back to what you said earlier, Sui, I think it was, who was talking about neckline breaks, right? Now, this is a genuine neckline, in my opinion. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, left neck, right neck. So that is a genuine break and retest of that neckline. But same as euro, what was the currency pair? I can't remember now. But exactly the same. We have now come back above it. Would I still be looking to trade short? Yes, I would. But I now need to see probably this level go again, but certainly this level go. And it's not there yet on the daily charts, on the 4-hour chart, though, that trade line. So I've got to see this up here, back underneath, and probably back underneath all the pivots, and then retest them before I look to go short. So the analysis that you have, and I'm sure it's based on this scenario. Let me go a little bit wider. You've probably got a trend line coming up through here. And you're seeing the break here and the potential retest of the daily pivot. I'll go a bit tighter. But you may also be seeing this other scenario, which is you could use this trade line if you wanted to and swing it down to here. And that's showing you could use that high, that high, that high. Doesn't matter. They're all the same. You've got the break. You've got the consolidation. You've got the re-break or the re-entry below the trade line. And now you're looking for that retest. So that's what I'd be looking at if I were you on this particular scenario. If we do get that retest of both the trade line and this trade line, and the daily pivot, then I think you've got good cause to trade that insurance bar. The issue you're going to have is the weekly pivot. And that shouldn't be that bad, actually. It depends on where you can get in. DS1's not ideal to get in on, but on a 4-hour chart, it's not the worst. So 26, you have to get above here. So you're looking at 30 pips of risk for 11, 12 pips. It's okay. As long as you're prepared to take profit here and get yourself safe, I think you'll be all right. Because this obviously could follow high, 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 low, high, 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 low, higher, high, still a higher low here, and could go, right? So that's why you would need to protect yourself there at that level. But I totally get it. And I think you've got a shot if that candle's good enough. Hi, Dylan. How you doing? Good to see you on board. Sadly, we've got to go. But you can watch the replay or come in tonight at, 8:30 Singapore, Hong Kong, or we'll, of course, be back here tomorrow doing exactly the same thing. And if you haven't caught up with today's episode, I think we've got 5 trades in the market at the moment. We will go through them again at the 8:30 mark in the preview to US session. But that is me, mate. I am DONE for now. Ouch.
Me too.
Ouch. Oh, sorry, I hurt my foot.
Well, go and nurse your foot, mate, and I will see you in a few hours.
Okie doke. Might need some liniment on it.
Okay. Thanks for the detail. For everyone else, we'll see you later on.
Bye for now.